evening, madam. My name is Nick Nakuden, and I'm going to start for my team member, in which we are going to present and give a talk about climate change. So for climate change is referring to a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. This shift may be natural as it goes through various cycles of weather patterns throughout the year. However, since 1,800 years ago, the human's activities has changed the climate drastically. This is mainly because of burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. These human activities has speed up the climate change process. This can make the Earth phenomenon happening at an aggressive rate. Move on to the next part, which is a sign of a climate change. The first sign of a climate change is a global heat. Global heat may happen mainly because of a greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas can act as a blanket at Earth's atmosphere that prevent the heat from going outside. The second sign of climate change is decreasing in rainfall. The rainfall volume decreasing mainly because of the speed up process of evaporation because of extreme weather or increasing in temperature. The sign of a climate change is drought. Drought happens due to decreasing rate of rainfall. Decreasing rate of rainfall can make any soil and any vegetation dry out faster. And the last sign of a climate change is a melting glacier. Glacier is a form of snow, massive snow that has been compressed as an ice. Increasing heat globally and temperature can melt the snow faster compared than the formation process.
Generating electricity and heat by burning fossil fuels cause a large chunk of global emissions. Most electricity is still generated by burning coal, oil or gas, which produce carbon dioxide, powerful greenhouse gas that blanket the earth and trap the sun heat. Cutting down forests to create farm or for other reasons cause emission, since trees, when they are cut, release the carbon that they have been storing. Since forests absorb carbon dioxide, when we destroying them, also limit nature's ability to keep emission out of the atmosphere. The uncontrollable use of land, water and energy for food contribute to greenhouse gas emissions that cause rising temperature. Highest temperature in turn affects resources to produce food system. To produce, package and distribute food generate a third of greenhouse gas emission and cause up to 18% of biodiversity loss. Most car, truck, ship and planes run on fossil fuels that make transportation a major contributor of greenhouse gas, especially carbon dioxide emission. Road vehicles account for the largest part. Transport accounts for nearly 1/4 of global energy-related carbon dioxide emission.
Okay, I will proceed with our presentation by discussing the implication of climate change. First and foremost, I want to discuss the consequences of global warming. Global warming is hot weather caused by the ozone layer depletion. Forest fires will develop when severe heat arises. Flames that occur can go out of control because they involve large-scale fires. As everyone knows, the forest is the home and original habitat of various kinds of animals. So, if a forest fire occurs, it can threaten and destroy the habitat of the animals that live there. Not only that, the animal will also be threatened with extinction as a result of forest fires. As you can see in the slide, there are some of the animals affected by forest fire caused by global warming. Following that, I will discuss the consequences of excessive and unpredictable rainfall. Rainfall that is unpredictable will have a substantial impact on certain low-lying locations. This will result in flash flood in low-lying places. As a result, the flash flood will harm many households because it will ruin their property, including vital commodities and important documents. Flood that occur will result in huge losses to farmers and ranchers. Farmers had to bear the loss because the crops they plant were damaged and could not be sold. The same is the case with ranchers who can only see their livestock drowning in flood. It is a harsh impact on them because indirectly they will lose their main source of income.
Alright, next point is the example of how climate changes occur. First example of climate change is, as you can see at this slide, is rising sea levels. Rising sea levels refers to the average increase in the water level of the Earth's oceans. Over the last centuries, the sea level has increased and continues to rise due to the global warming caused by the human activities that have increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and causes climate changes. Second slide or second example is heat illness. It means a serious medical condition resulting from the body's inability to cooperating with a particular heat loads, and it is including heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat syncope, and heat strokes. Third example, as you can see, is storm, or the other name we can call it hurricane. It is indicated with a meaning a violent wind, in particular a tropical cyclone in the Caribbean. With increasing global surface temperature, the possibilities of more droughts and increased intensity of storms, it will likely occur. As more water vapor is evaporated into the atmosphere, it becomes fuel for more powerful storms to develop. Lastly, the example of the climate change is extremely cold weather. It is causing an increase in both average and extreme temperature around the world, with the Arctic warming as much as 3 times faster than the rest of the world. That is for the example of climate change.
As we know, there's always solution to problem, like much of our electricity and heat is powered by coal, oil and gas. Hence, we should be using less energy by switching to LED light bulb as an example. Hence, it will save our mother from extra climate change. Secondly, the world roads are clogged with vehicles, most of them burning diesel or even petrol. Hence, by walking or riding a bike instead would reduce the greenhouse emissions, as that would later part save our Mother Earth from climate change. Besides that, eating more vegetable, fruits and whole grains, legumes, nuts and seeds, less meat and also dairy can significantly lower our environmental impact. Like also, we could also produce plant-based foods, generally also will result in fewer greenhouse emissions. Last but not least, airplanes burn large amounts of fossil fuels, producing significant greenhouse emissions. Hence, by taking few flights is definitely one of the fastest ways to reduce our environmental impact. Hence, we could always meet virtually by taking a train or skip the long distance trip together.